If you do have any like questions about, I mean, almost anything. Oh wow, going right for it. What's the worst storm I've gone through? And I'm like, everyone's like, is this normal? And I'm like, yeah, it happens all the time. Like, because the thing is, like, I'm the voice of like calm and reason. So if I start to freak out, y'all are gonna start to freak out. Well, here's the problem. What's on the outside of the Ocean Plaza? The hot tubs. They over flooded, and then all that water came rushing and pooled up against the door. Well, they're automatic doors on the Magic. So somebody walked past, and then all of a sudden the doors open, and now I've got water rushing through a cruise ship where there's usually not water. I've got people slipping and sliding and people falling, and everyone's like, should we be concerned? And I'm like, no, it's okay, it happens all the time. In my mind, I'm like, get in the lifeboats! Yeah, needless to say, that was probably the rough experience, the most one that had. But we were trying to avoid a storm, so we got hit by a current one way, and then the wind pushed us the other. So that was what happened. But yeah, that was probably the worst like storm that I've been through. Yeah. Good question. Start us right off though. I like that. Hello. Hey, TT from Texas. Oh, wow, okay. I feel like I need to be on the couch. Like, how much am I paying you for this? Is this my dream job, and if not, what was? Or what would I be doing now? I don't know. I mean, growing up, I grew up as a theater kid, so like my dream was, like be on Broadway and, make it. But then as, once I got to like 18, I was like, the world of theater was just, it was too competitive, and I'm like, I'm not like that competitive person. Like, I want to see everybody win, and I want to see everybody be successful. So like to try to like fight out somebody or try to like prove that I'm better than anybody is something that I realized that it wasn't for me. So I actually became a stage manager at a children's theater, kind of developing kids to be able to do that. And so I realized that I was actually okay with that kind of life. So I did do a lot of like the behind the scenes for a while, and then there was a while that I was actually working at our level 1 trauma hospital at the therapy pool. So I thought, you know what, like I would actually really want to be like an EMT. So I was starting school to actually develop to be a paramedic. And then my mom hit me with the truth one day, and she was like, I'm sorry to say, I just don't see you as a paramedic. And it like broke my heart. And I was like, Mom, you're supposed to be encouraging me. And then she said that, she was like, you are too passionate for people that you would be the worst EMT because you would like try to like carry them through the hospital, like see them to the end, and then you wouldn't leave, and then you would try to call back to the hospital and check in on them. And I was like, okay, so maybe this isn't for me. So, yeah, and so then I ended up working in St. Paul, which is where I'm from, Minnesota. I was a supervisor for our St. Paul Aquatics. So I oversaw 3 water parks and a beach, and I did that for like 11 years. And then at the same time, I was working at the Science Museum in Minnesota. All the meanwhile, I was still working like everywhere else and stuff. And so then it wasn't until I took a cruise that I even thought about being on a cruise ship. And then that was kind of what made me pull the trigger on it. So I don't know that I necessarily have a dream job, but the only way that I could define a dream job to me is being happy and feeling successful within what I'm doing. And so to answer your question, I guess, yes, this is my dream job. I saw a hand that was right over here next to you, and then I got one that was upstairs. So I come over, and then I see the 5 of you all pointing to one person. Okay, there was one. Yeah, there you are. Hey. Hi, Sean. New Hampshire. There's not a lot of y'all. Anybody else from New Hampshire? Whoa, 3 other people. Crazy. Describe my overall job and responsibility. You know when you sign a contract and it says other duties as assigned? That's my blanket statement. So Basically, the way that I could break it down is I'm a manager to the Fun Squad, so the Fun Squad and I work together. I also am the liaison to the guest experience. So basically, that's why you pretty much only hear like my voice making the announcements. Is because at the end of the day, it's if we have too many coming at you at once, then it's just a lot going on. So guest services will do the announcements, but basically so like the experiences and stuff, it's pretty much me. I host our main events, development and training with these guys, but then also like to the crew experience as well. And then I also, behind the scenes, I also have a chance to be able to like create like our programming along board as well. So I work with our entertainment director to make sure that from my side of things and what we do, it matches with our musicians, as well as our playlist performers, as well as the technicians, as well as the youth team. So yeah, even within that, I also help coordinate within like the other departments when we have like programming that crosses over. So with food ops and beverage operations and housekeeping. Yeah. Do I sleep? March 15th. Counting down to the day. Not like I have 35 days or anything. So, hey, love. Hey, is that from Brooklyn? You know when we had the debarkation presentation that we had a little bit ago? That's currently on channel 15 right now. And then had questions afterwards. So now you come in, so you're gonna come to the Q&A when we talk about all the fun because you got a personal question. It is a Q&A. Does anybody want to claim her? Because y'all need to get your friend. Oh, she claimed it? Oh, she I don't know her. That what? She got you. Okay. Oh, now you're waiting for the answer. Okay. Well, funny enough, there's also a debarkation flyer that came to you as well, Annette. So I'm gonna have you read over that information. But as soon as we get our clearance from Border Protection, which is typically around 7:30, is when we're gonna start. So listen for the announcements. I mean, unless you want to go now. I can make that happen. Eh? The what? The water cap. Yeah. He's a bottlenose dolphin. You're welcome. Very eagerly over in the corner, and then there was one right next to you, and then I'll come up to the front that I see. Yes. What's your name? It's Will from Maine, I know that. Yeah, he's causing trouble all over the ship.
When we're done with the meeting with us. Are you done?
I'm not giving any look, I'm just making sure I'm hearing the question appropriately. Yeah, okay. So the question is, how do we balance work-life balance in a personal life, basically, on the ship? And what difficulties do you find? Okay. And I'm a married. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, so to kind of back up, one of the tricky things about being on a ship is the fact that like our work life is our personal life, right? Like this is not only our home, but like it's also our workplace. And so, for example, like when you're back home, you go to work and then you go home, and you know I know that a lot of people are still working from home right now, which is awesome. I love that for you guys. But the ability to kind of have that disconnect of like, you know, if maybe let's say you don't want to be around your coworkers for the day. It's like,
You
ugh,
don't wanna-
John is really annoying me. Like, you know, you only have to wait until 5 o'clock and then all of a sudden you peace out and you don't see John until the next day when you might get some rest and be over it. But, you know, like for us, it's like, ugh, I gotta see Molly or she irritated me and they're like, you just so happen to look up at me at the same time. So I don't want to necessarily say like it's like tricky or it's hard because it's life, and so you just kind of learn to balance it out and just remember that at the end of the day, like there's not really avoiding people. So you just make sure everything is cordial, and like if you have to have adult conversations, you just have conversations. So you just have like you have the conversation that you need to have, and just make sure everything's cordial and you live your best life. I think what you're attempting to get to with like sugarcoating it is more so like in the sense of like how do relationships work on board. Could have just said that. Oh, you and Molly are together. Oh, wow. You like to. Wow. You're really reaching for the stars there, aren't you, buddy? There you are. Yeah, literally have to climb the tree, huh? So he carries around a step stool. I'm just being serious. So actually, this one. So when I went for, so we call them auditions. So when I went for my audition to be a part of the Fun Squad, they made it very clear. They were talking about like our zero tolerance policy, and one of the things for us is one of our zero tolerance policies is no fraternization with guests, right? They're very called it out, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you will be removed off a ship like as quick as you blink. He said, however, when it comes down to your fellow crew. I kid you not. I'm like, this is a job interview, and the guy's standing there doing this, and I was like, what? And he said, look, at the end of the day, you are all adults, and adults sometimes really enjoy ice cream. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you can't go one way, enjoy it where you can. And I was like, what? But to be able to talk about it though, like and being honest, like it's one of the coolest things because like you meet people from literally all over the world and you get exposed to different cultures and different communities and different accents and stuff, and it's just like you start to learn so much more, and there's a lot of things that you kind of dive into. So whether it creates, you know, a relationship or relations on ships or whatever the case might be, it's cool because from there people do end up by meeting their partners and have a chance to be able to we call it linking, where you basically can kind of like pair your crew number to somebody else's, so basically you're kind of like on board married. So therefore when you come to the ship or when they're looking at your contracts, they try to keep those that are linked together so that you can basically go from one ship to the next. But then on top of that, when you are on the ship, then you would be able to share a cabin together. So it is really, really cool that Carnival does not only promote being an adult just in general, but also the fact that like if you do find happiness, then you are being able to stay within that happiness. So, yeah. I mean, to go against that, like, yeah, breakups could be difficult, but again, like, it's like that aspect, like, if you have a bad first date, right, and you're like, oh, never gonna see this person again, cool, you never have to run into that person, because more than likely you're not running in the same circles. On a ship, if it doesn't go well, well, you better be able to keep your eyes in the other direction, because you're gonna see, you might be working next to him tomorrow, so. Oh my gosh, it's our playlist performers. Oh my gosh, you guys come see the shows? You got Harry and Peter walking through the lounge. Hi guys. All right. Yes, you're very excited back here. Hello. Tracy from Washington State. Oh, Christy, sorry. What ships have I been on? What's my favorite and why? So my first ship, which is always like your first love, was the Carnival Magic, and so I was on the Carnival Magic and the Carnival Vista as Fun Squad. And then I stepped up as cruise director, and then I went to the Splendor, and then following that, I was on the Fascination, Elation, Inspiration, back to the Magic, to the Breeze, to the Liberty, to the Dream, and now the Venezia. I know I get around. And as far as like which one's my favorite, that one's always a hard question to answer because for you as like the guest, you love the ships because of like the amenities and because of the layouts and stuff like that. To me, that all kind of blurs as one because we don't enjoy them just like you guys do. So to me, it's the memories that I make on the ship that make them my favorites or like more special and important to me. So obviously the Magic was my first ship, so that was like my first love. The Vista, I was there as as part of the inaugural Fun Squad team, so I got to bring that ship like out of like the shipyard and which was really cool and it just very humbling to be a part of that experience. The Carnival Splendor was my first ship as a cruise director, and I was on her for a year and a half. So she was like, that. Coming to the Dream was return to service, and that was one of my hardest contracts that I ever had. But because it was so tough, it made us bond together as like a team. So that one really stood out. And then being able to be the inaugural cruise director for the Carnival Venezia has made this ship so memorable for me because I stand as the first Black American to bring out a ship for Carnival Cruise Line. To kind of be able to hold on to that title, like it really means a lot. And so look, we can all call it out. I know that this ship is designed differently and it's not a typical Carnival ship, but I have been able to find the ways to find the beauty within her that makes her different. And just because she's different doesn't mean she's bad, it's just different. So I've been able to kind of pull myself back to be able to be I actually really like this part about this, or I found this. And so some of those hidden gems about the ship does make this one of my favorites. So yeah, that was a great question. Thanks. I saw right behind, and then I got up front, and then I see over here, and I got you over on the side there. So what's up, Whitey? Yeah, so it's being able to get assigned as cruise directors is this question. So when we start with the company as cruise directors, they try to find if we have a niche, right? So because a 3 and 4 day cruise is going to be polar opposite to a 6 and 8 day cruise, which is also so opposite to where you are. So if I did a 3 and 4 day out of Long Beach, it's a whole different demographic if I do a 3 and 4 day out of Miami versus a 5 or 4 day cruise out of Galveston or a 9 day cruise out of New York. So it's all over the place. So a good chunk of it is performance based about if we're able to adapt to the crowd and be able to kind of pull certain elements out. As I am currently the 4th longest running cruise director in the Carnival fleet, I've kind of bounced all over the place, and which is actually really great because I find that I do well to adapt to where I'm at. So I've had the privilege to kind of get a little bit of everything compared to some of our cruise directors who have tried a 5-day cruise and didn't necessarily do great, but they were on a 3-day cruise and they killed it. So then they get the 3 and 4 day cruises because those are more your party experiences. And I mean I've been there, done that, and those are some memories to be made. But we also do have a really awesome relationship with our shoreside team who do the booking for us as cruise directors, and we can always say hey, we'd love to be able to try a different itinerary, a certain ship. So it is kind of up to us as well. And if they'll sometimes say hey, we want to send you to this, and we can say no, or we want to try something different. So it does work really, really cool to be able to have the opportunity. But for coming here, I was asked to be the inaugural cruise director. So
that's awesome.
What's up, Pink Shirt? Or Salmon? Daniel from Pennsylvania. Well, we're great. Here we go. Have I ever encountered any pirates, and what would I do if they? What would we do if they ever tried to board? No. To answer in the plain sense. So was anybody here last week? Back to backs. Okay. There was a whole situation that happened last cruise, and people saw a boat pull up next to the ship. They saw somebody get on and then drive away. It is called a pilot. What is a pilot? I'm glad you asked. A pilot is somebody who is from where we're going and they know the layout. So like, let's say there's like a set of bad rocks. They know where the bad rocks are. So they know how to help us maneuver to be able to get in safe. They know like if the current is pushing us, like how strong it could be or like how we can kind of guide it to get in safely. Somehow, way, shape, or form, the guest thought it was an actual pirate and were so confused why we welcomed a pirate to take over the ship. So that's not what happens. It's not very common. It's not really, I've actually never heard of a cruise ship being overrun by a pirate. Typically what it would be a like cargo ship or something. And that's because there's less people that actually man the cargo ships. To be completely honest, in the event that somebody tried to come on to this ship, I would wish them the best of luck because let's be real, New Yorkers do not take anybody's game. So if it were to happen, I would probably say, New Yorkers, we got someone trying to board this ship that ain't supposed to be here. Can y'all go ahead and get down to deck 0? Y'all be standing there like, who's trying to come up in our home? So that's what I would do. I would send y'all to take care of the lightweight. Yeah, either that or I would probably blow like a dart gun for like a little raft and just let it deflate. So, yeah. So, yeah. But I'm glad you asked. But if you hear somebody say, "I am the captain now," it's probably me just trying to mess with you guys. Just say, "Hey, Rebecca." Of course. The craziest thing I guess is done on the ship that I was on. There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, let's go up there.
Top 3. Okay, I'll start with the one that always comes to my mind. So one of the things about being a cruise director is, in the nicest way possible, I have to deal with y'all all the time. Now, while this skin is very soft and is very moisturized, it is also very thick. And I always say energy is contagious, but it's also up to you to be able to own your own energy. So at the end of the day, I'm too blessed to be stressed, and I'm in a great place, and I'm in a great life. So sometimes y'all need to get some of that energy out, and I'm here for it. And look, you can have a chance to be able to have the conversation, get it out. If that's going to make sure that you walk away and have a better day, cool. Do what you got to do. But I don't need to take on my energy. And there was one particular day that it was already kind of a rough day behind the scenes, and I was already kind of annoyed, and then I was having this conversation, and this woman started to put me overboard, and I could feel it, and I was like, okay. So I was at the back of the ship, and I was like, all right, I need to take a walk, so I was going to use the lanai, which is the deck 5, the outer area, just to be able to go outside, get some fresh air, let it go. So the easiest way to get there was to go through the comedy club, which is on deck 5, and then there's a door right there that leads to that lanai. So I was like, all right, cool. So I walked through, and as I opened the door, there were a couple over the railing enjoying ice cream. And there you go. It's okay. And I was like, ha! And like as I was like trying to like stop watching, because I was caught off guard. The worst part about it was that it didn't stop him from enjoying his ice cream, and it was really more uncomfortable because he and I locked eyes, and I was like, so that I like shut the door really fast, and I was like, well, it looks like I'm walking through the guest areas to get to where I need to be tonight. So, yeah, that was probably like the one that I caught. There was also another time during a deck party. I was on the Carnival Splendor, and the Splendor also has a dome, so it's a little laid out kind of like this, except for on the Splendor, there are, on deck 11, there's 2 hot tubs upstairs. So as I'm in the middle of this deck party, and like I'm literally like doing like the wobble and stuff, and like this lady comes up to me and she's like tugging at me, and I'm like, man, I'm in the middle of dance moves. Like, I'm not having this conversation. And she's like pulling me. She looks really, really concerned. So I try to grab one of the fun squad to be like, hey, can you help her? Because like I'm not really able to stop this moment. She grabs my arm and pulls me down. And I was like, oh, it's like, hold my earrings. And she had said that she could see from deck 10 as she was looking up that there were a couple in the hot tub enjoying ice cream. And the thing was is that if you were over on this side of the Lido and you look over, you saw the head bopping up and down enjoying the ice cream, and I was like, so we had to ask security to go and have a conversation with them and to drain the hot tub. You know, the food and ice cream in the hot tubs is not a good thing, child. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But then I think it's just like just a buildup of the things that y'all also say to me sometimes, or the questions that y'all ask. Because I was having a conversation with a few friends that I made last night, and we were talking about that when y'all come on board, y'all seem to turn off your brain sometimes, and those are the funniest conversations. And one of the biggest ones that this was like, I wish I was funny enough to make things like this up. One of the locations that I can make the announcement from is at guest services. And when I was on the Splendor, the guest services desk is here, and then the PA system is around this like half wall, but it's literally like right there. Now the microphones are super, super sensitive, and as I like go over, like this woman was yelling at her guest services associate, and I was like standing there and like waiting, because I was like, if I push the button, y'all are gonna hear, you know, her yelling, and I'm like, okay, so I'm like sitting there waiting. So I'm like looking around the corner, just like waiting for her to stop yelling. And so then I peer around one more time, and then she goes, "You, get over here." Oh! Because here's the thing, I'm not guest services, so I will say what I have to say. And I said, "Excuse you?" And she says, "Are you a manager?" And I said, "Technically, yes." And she said, "I demand a refund." And I said, "Well, first of all, I'm the wrong person to talk to." And I said, "But why?" I said, "Because you're already having a conversation with the people that can help you." And she said, I gotta back up. We had like just finished the sail away party, but we hadn't yet set sail, okay? She said, "I paid for an ocean view, and all I'm staring at is the parking lot." I grabbed a piece of paper. I wrote down MarQ, cruise director. I said, "Ma'am, my name is MarQ." I said, "I want you to remember that by the end of the week." I said, "Give me 1 hour, I'm gonna make all your dreams come true." I've also been hit with the question, are these the stairs that go up? And I said, "No, these are the ones that only go down." I've asked if these are the elevators that go up, and I said no, these are the ones that go side to side. The lady, no, the gentleman asked me, oh, where are the ones that go up? I said down the hall, and he goes, thank you, and walked away from me. I really hope this individual's not here, but this one happened this week. What day was it? Was it Miami morning, I think? I think it was Miami morning. As you guys were getting off the ship, I had someone pull me aside and say, I don't understand your operation. And I said, that makes sense. I said, not many people work on cruise ships and know what happens. And this individual says to me, but I don't understand why y'all are working at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, well, I said, not many of us are working at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he goes, well, clearly the maintenance team are working. And I said that's not really quite true. I said, our housekeeping are 24 hours a day. And I said, but not necessarily maintenance. And he goes, oh no, I'm downstairs and all night long, y'all were outside my room banging on the side of the ship. And I said, I'm really sorry, but no one is going to be working at 3 o'clock in the morning, especially on the outside of the ship. He goes, yeah, y'all were. It was like every 5 seconds. Bam! Bam! I said, where's your cabin? To the front of the ship. So those are the waves. He goes, no, there is no way that the waves are that loud. I said, did you feel the ship rocking? Yeah. What I was thinking was, sir, did you think it was Moby Dick, like, messing around with us? I don't know if you're here, but that was a fun little conversation that I had at 7 o'clock in the morning in Miami. So, yeah. So those are some of my stories that I got, because y'all come out of nowhere. I saw this very patient in the hat, and then I got a couple more hands that are over here, so. Hi, Brent. Hi, Greg from Jersey.
Let me ask you a question, Mark.
I figured that would be the case. We're just gonna bring out that couch one time. That's a lot of work. So how long do I see myself doing this, and what are my aspirations? Look, I'm gonna be honest. When I no longer love what I do, and I feel like it pulls away, that's when I know that my time has come. So to necessarily say I have a plan, a goal, a time limit, not really. Like I said, I just want to be able to be happy and with what I do, and I love my job, and being able to just it's not often, I don't think, that people are finding jobs that truly make them happy. I'm finding that there's a lot of the time that people will take a job because they need something, and or they'll stay past the happiness level. And I think for me, I believe that life is too short, and to be able to make the most out of my life is what's most important to me. And so I think that being able to do that will be my time. So when my time comes, my time will come. And so do I have a stamp on it with a date? Not really. Aspirations afterwards? Bro, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what I'm doing next week, let alone in a year from now. So I think when the time comes, opportunities will fall into place, and doors are always open. It's just a matter of, stepping through when the time is right. So yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what I really could do, because to be able to go from this, one of the hardest things is I have a chance to make major decisions for an entire operation. I also have a chance to be a manager. I get to do development and training, with my fun spot. I get to consistently work on guest experience. I also have a chance to be able to, be creative. I get to create the shows. If anybody came up and saw the 90s party last night, that was my own creation. You know, like the Welcome Aboard show was something that like I put together, and so it's cool to be able to like find those things. But then stepping away from this life, it's like what on land would be able to give me that same, like all of the things that I do, and the answer is not really anything. So it's a matter of trying to figure out which one I would want to lean on, and that would make me happy. So I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out when the time comes. Plus, I'm not in a rush. I mean, I'm 109, so like my time is kind of coming. But thank you so much, Black Don't Crack. Happy Black History Month. Anyway, okay. There were a couple coming through this way, so I see here. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep coming this way. I only got a few more minutes. I gotta get as many as I can. And the baby's got one. Okay, well I'll get the baby last. Okay. Hi, love. Yeah, right here in the middle. Hi. Hey. Okay. I love that for you. Makes sense. Oh. Well, we can talk about that later, yeah? What's that? Yeah. Nice. Oh! Oh! That's a good one. So I would actually have to say, my mom is a huge fan of Mel Brooks. And she always used to talk about the movie Young Frankenstein. Well, her birthday was coming up, and I was like, oh, I gotta find something for us to do. And I stumbled upon the fact that they actually made Young Frankenstein into a musical. And I was like, okay, like old school, black and white, Mel Brooks, like whatever. I was like, we'll do it. Like I watched a couple of the videos, and I was like, this could be fun for her. And I was like, I'll suck it up. So we went, and it was one of the funniest musicals I have ever seen. And just the fact that like she and I like shared that, like made it so great. So I would have to go with Young Frankenstein as one of my favorites, but other than that, I would also have to probably go with like Wicked. Yeah. I gotta go with like Wicked and I mean I'm not gonna try to be the stereotype, but like Lion King was pretty great. It was so good. So those are like my big ones. I like Wicked, the music of Wicked is just amazing. There's also like my mom was also obsessed with Rent, and so then that became like another one because like she would always just have it playing, and then like my sisters and I would start always like doing the different characters and stuff. So like Rent was always like a staple in our household. So if I had to say like a particular role that I would love to do. I don't know. There's so many that I would just like love to be a part of. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that one. But I think anything that's like super dancey, like I love to dance, so I'd probably find something that had a lot of like dance in it. Yeah. Actually, no, I think I figured it out. No, that I love both. I would be either Shrek or Donkey from Shrek the Musical.
Yes.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do it last night. Thanks, man. Thanks. I've been practicing. Yeah, that would be Shrek the Musical was great too. Yeah. Can I do Scottish? Donkey. That's what I got. I'll practice and come back to you. So. All right, there's a couple here, and then I gotta loop back. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because we've got 3 minutes, and I'm feeling like I'm gonna be overtime anyway, so we'll make it work. So, hi, from Iowa, Ohio, OH. Uh-oh. Uh-huh. 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 Where's the best place to hide, hypothetically, if you didn't want to leave the ship, but you want to stay for the next cruise? Well, funny enough, they send the dogs around, so they'll sniff you out real quick. So if you hide by the kitchens, they're always distracted by the meat. Well, hypothetical, of course, right? Yeah. It's a good one. Yeah. Hi, Morgan from Canada. Yeah. Where did that come up with? Okay, bye. Okay. All right. I'm gonna start with that one because the other one we can talk. We can talk about that. So okay, bye actually started from when I was on the Splendor back in 2017. What? I was making an announcement, and as I was making an announcement, all of a sudden my room phone started to ring. All the meanwhile, my ship phone started to ring. Then I had somebody walking in being like, "Yo!" And then all of a sudden I had like 4 emails like literally pop up. So my ADHD was all over the place while I'm trying to have a conversation with all the people that are listening to an announcement, while I'm trying to like hit the phone so it can stop ringing, while I'm trying to turn down my phone so it stops ringing, and telling the person that's walking through the door like to stop talking. It was a lot that was happening. So I needed to end the announcement right then and there, and I literally like panicked and I was like, "Okay, bye!" And it just was the funniest thing because everybody literally was like, "What was that?" And I was like, there was a lot going on. But then I literally could not stop laughing about it. So then it just kind of became like part of like the, "Okay, bye." Like, and then I was like, "Okay, bye." And then I got annoyed with that one. So then I was like, "Oh my God." So then over the time it was happening. And then I realized that like I kind of did the jingle. And then I had a little girl come up to me and she goes, "You sound like Elsa." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I do." So then I realized that was just kind of like one of those things from like Frozen that I was like, whatever. I was like, it's cute. So I held on to it. So that's why I just kind of stuck around, because now I try to play around with you guys and see how long y'all will wait for it. And I literally have people will say like, they literally will like be standing at their door and they're like, and then they just wait and they go, and then somebody caught me and said, "You didn't say it." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "Well, okay, it was after the announcement when we said that we weren't going to Half Moon." And I was like, "Well, yeah, that was a little more serious. So I wasn't going to be like, sorry guys, here's some really bad news." "Okay, bye." Like, so he goes, "Okay, that's forgivable. That's working good. Glad we're on the same page." Yeah. So yeah, so that was that one. And then we'll come back to your first question afterwards. Yeah. Hello. Ooh, Montreal. Thanks. Huh? So what happens if I get sick, and how do I stay healthy? So one, I am very adamant about taking like vitamin C all the time. So I'm always pumping my system like 3 times a day. I'm taking vitamin C just as a proactive measure. It's happened where like days like I'm not necessarily feeling it, and I do the best that I can to like pull back where I can so that I have enough energy to be able to give it where I can. So it's all about balance. But like for example, especially COVID came through and changed the world, and so during that point in time we came up with like a contingency plan, so a backup. So like if we were ever to test positive or not able to do the job, then basically the fun squad would jump in and cover. So luckily I've got an amazing fun squad, 3 of which that are on this team have actually covered as cruise director before. So I know that if at any point in time I ever was like, "Look, I need y'all to help me out and just to be able to do this or cover it," not only would they be excited because they have an opportunity to be able to do some of like the high level profile events and activities, they would be so capable to just jump in and do it. So I could basically pick at the drop of a dime either one of these guys to be able to just step in and to make sure that your experience was still going on while I have a chance to be able to recover. So yeah, I think so. Whoa, vitamin C is great. Either that or it's airborne and severe cold and flu. Flush it. Yeah. All right, I got my last two, and then we'll get on out of here so y'all can play some bingo and win some money. Oh. Hi, Katie from Rhode Island. So I am going on my vacation March 15th, and then I am coming back here May 6th, and then I'm here till September, and then don't know after that because we've got some major move around, so we'll see what happens. But Lee Mason's going to be coming over here and taking over the Venezia for next year. So. Yeah, so most of us as cruise directors will post there's a link that's it's called Airtable, and it's with like a whole bunch of numbers and stuff. But if you follow the link, it shows you all of the ships and all the cruise directors that are going to be there. So if you ever wanted to particularly follow like a cruise director, you could see where that cruise director is going to be / when. But then on top of that, if you also have a cruise booked, you can also say, oh, who is my cruise director, and then find out. And then I know that all y'all go and do some searching. And somebody came up to me on embarkation day, and again, I hope you're not here. It was one of the funniest, creepiest conversations that like I've ever had, because he walked up and was like, "Oh, hey, MarQ," and I was like, "Hi," and he goes, "I know all about you." And I was like, what? And it was like, you are all over YouTube. And I was like, okay. He goes, and I Googled you. Now look, I understand that it maybe not have meant to come off as if I have a stalker. But I definitely had security following me around for like the next 12 hours, so. Yeah, but yeah, so it happens, but if it happens again, please just don't tell me about that, because I want to know about that. I got right down here, and then I'll come up there. I'll come up there. Yeah, I don't run, but I can take stairs. So, yeah. Hey you. This is Tia from Canada. All of a sudden, very shy. She's not a baby. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, boo boo. Who is my best friend? Well, earlier this week, I met this really awesome 3-year-old who came up to me out of nowhere and had the best conversation with me, and we talked about ducks. And so I would have to say my best friend is, her name is Tia. And funny enough, she's also from Canada. Yeah. All right, there you have it. I'm a little over my time, but thanks for hanging out with me a little bit. I hope you had a good time. I truly hope that you've had nothing shy of the best time. And again, yes, I know that it wasn't necessarily perfect, and we had some bumps and bruises along the way, but hopefully we were able to make it still a really wonderful experience that you guys can walk away with. So